If you knew what your true yes was and what your true no was in all areas of your life, would you be able to choose faster and easier? What futures would those choices create? Everyone is capable of connecting to their bodies in a way to have more exuberant and joyful living now and in the future. Now, here is your host of Choosing a Different Future with Siris.
Hi everyone. Oh gosh, so glad that you're here with us today. I am super excited about our discussion today. This is going to be phenomenal. Welcome to all of our long-term listeners and welcome to everyone new that has been following us and for all the different platforms here as we're new to the Inspired Choices Network. Very excited. And today I have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about nurturing empowered children through play. And hi, Clement. We have Clement Goh here from Buddy Adventures. And we are going to be talking about this amazing topic that resonates with both of us. So I'm Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo. And in addition to being a body relationship coach, where I communicate with the person's body, invite them to connect with their bodies, and if they would like with other people's bodies, I actually really had this wonderful conversation with Clement when we met a couple months ago through our work with families and children. And so I'm a family and child coach, and I'm always looking for other people to connect my families and my clients with, and to also learn from. And in just one conversation with Clement, I learned so much, and we keep growing. We can talk for hours. We're going to try to keep it in the time frame of our show. But I want to read to you the description of what we're going to be talking about today. So what if the way you interacted with your children empowered them? What if you could nurture them differently and more effectively? So Clement Goh is from Buddy Adventures, like I mentioned, and he'll be joining me today to share about our experiences working with children and families. And we will provide specific tips on how to rewire children's perspectives through play to empower them and build confidence. The benefits of rewiring their mindsets, reframing situations, and using cutting-edge psychology and language will be discussed so that parents, caregivers, and educators can facilitate an empowered child that will be more likely to, and these are just a couple things. So if you have some specific ideas about this, there's a lot of people that are going to be listening to this. I just know that, excuse me, that know a lot about empowering kids. Is when you have an empowered child, they're more likely to create stronger bonds with family and friends. They're more likely to think outside of the box, to problem solve better. Yes, to be more successful in school and in life. We want a little bit of that in the world, a little bit more of that. Be calm and regulate themselves and their emotions. Feel and be more of themselves. So this is part of what can come with facilitating and nurturing an empowered child. And we're going to go to all those places and more today. So Clement Goh is a nurturing play expert. Have you ever met a nurturing play expert? Well, now after today, you can say you have. And we're going to make sure that you feeling empowered by the end of this episode today, that you know and are clear on what next steps you can take to support your child or your students and to strengthen your connection with them. And that's a really, really important place to start, is this beautiful connection. So Clement, again, thank you so much for being here. Please go ahead and let people know a little bit more about you. I'm going to say one more thing that I think is really important for people to know is not only do you have this amazing program that I want to definitely get into, the Buddy Adventures, but you're a speaker, you're a trainer, you're an entrepreneur, you focus on nurturing play, but you're also this ally to parents to form stronger bonds with their children. I think this is one of the things that really resonate and that I was really inspired by with our conversations. And then you are the founder of this Buddy Adventures thing, but this is a really different family program. Like when you told me about this, I was like, whoa. So wait, what is this now? What's going on? How have I not heard of this already? Because it transforms and uplifts these relationships through imagination in a way that I had never heard of before. They look at life skills. There's martial arts, which I'm a fan of martial arts. Not everybody knows that, but I was like raised on action movies.
Wow.
My dad, hi dad, out there is like, that's what we bond over. I did not tell you this already. Oh yeah. Oh, it's a thing. So it's not just about teaching. You also are a proud doggy dad. You do gaming. You are a husband, a loving husband. I love your photos of you and your wife. But this is these key things is like when we talk about these different aspects, just like me, you're not any one thing. And I would love to know how you bring all of this to your families and what led you, given all these different experiences you've had, what led you to work with children and families in this way?
Well, I'm going to start with this. I'm Clement, and I'm irrationally passionate about gamifying things in the first place. And as all of you can imagine, when you were a kid, you probably went on some imaginary adventures of your own. And from there, I wondered, I grew up in Singapore. My parents worked from 7 to 7, so I did not see them a lot. And on the weekends, we would go out and play. And I wonder, what kind of future could we have if I brought in a system where you, the parent or an educator, could have that like right now to be able to not say take away time or add more time, but replace current activities that you have with nurturing play, where you and your child come together, go on your imagination, have an experienced facilitator to help you out with that a little bit. And then by the end of the session, you feel empowered because I'm not here to breed any sort of dependence on my program. I really want you to get the skills, same skills.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, so parents have a way of then enriching their lives. They get to be kids again too with their kids.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And I loved how you started with how you grew up in Singapore and weren't really seeing your parents very much. So could you tell us a little bit more about how you got from your childhood and your experiences to creating this program? Like you were like, okay, I'd like to have more play. You like gamifying things. I love that word. I'm going to have to gank that one from you. I'll give you credit though. Okay. I promise I'll give you credit, but that's a gamify.
Anytime.
Mm-hmm. And so what were your life experiences that led you from your experiences with your parents and really not getting to have those memories that you would really like to now you're in the United States, and which is a whole different, and we can talk about being an immigrant and having parents that were born in other countries. That might be a whole other call, but there's a lot of people that I know are going to be listening to this that they can relate to that. They can definitely relate to that. And then you're going from there to thinking of this business possibility. And I'm sure you had other experiences business wise and professionally before that. So how did this come together to lead to this specific journey than where you are now?
First thing I'm going to say about that is we as human beings were not made to sit on a chair for 8 hours a day, getting told what to learn. And that was my experience growing up in the education system back home. And I'm sure it's probably really different now. And what's important is you as an adult and kids as kids learn through playing through things and experiencing things. And those lessons are so much stronger. So as opposed to my parents saying, go watch this show and you'll learn some life skills. Whereas, hey, why not you as the parent bring me out and then teach me along the way, and we can both have a lot of fun together.
Ooh,
so
give me an example of that, because I get that there is a lot of families like, okay, that sounds good. I would love that. I'd love to be more involved in my child's learning. I would love to, that's what the parents that come to me, the parents that come to me are dedicated. They love their kids. There's no doubt about it. But they kind of have a sense of like, I know more is possible, but I'm not sure how to go about doing this more as possible. So what's a life lesson that that is really fun for you to teach through your Buddy Adventures program? And then how do the parents get involved in being a part of that?
All right. This one is going to be really fun. And I'm going to encourage all of you to try this immediately at home with your child. So let's say some days you may not have had your morning coffee and you're just walking around like, oh, my energy is kind of low. I kind of want to charge it up. And it's the same. Sometimes you see your kids and they're just like, oh. And then if you go up to them and say, hey, do you want to feel amazing? And they'll be like, obviously I do. So
who's going to say no to that? Yeah.
Yeah. Just cross your arms with me. Let's try it all together. We're all seated. So if you're watching at home standing up, please stand up and do it. Jump out, spread your arms out as wide as you can, as big as you can, and shout, I feel amazing. And the louder you are.
I think that's something that we should all do right now, honestly. Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it. Ready? Cross your arms. Some people are going to look at me and be like, is Wakanda forever coming? I was like, no, that's not the thing. That's not the thing. We're just going to say 3 very simple words. I feel amazing. Jump out like a star, and 3, 2, 1, go. I feel amazing. And you can see, like, our energies just changed. It went up a level.
Oh, it did.
And when you as a parent do that with your kid, and rather than asking them to do it on their own, say, okay, go charge your own battery. And then
which a lot of parents do, right? It's like, okay, do what I say, not what I do. It's like, no, I'm going to do this. So I do what I do and what I say.
Yes, exactly. Just, I got to put this out there. And, we have enough material in this to last 3 hours of tips and strategies. One of the secrets that I've known over my lifetime is that parents, you are like that first superhero that your child ever meets. And teachers out there, educators, you too, you are like a superhero to them. So whatever you say, whatever you do, they will copy those things exactly, because kids are the greatest mimics in this world. Yeah. And when you do it with them, they'll mimic exactly what you're doing. And some people might feel like it's a little bit of pressure, but hey, when you feel a little bit more of yourself and you feel amazing, you spread that to them and they're going to feel amazing too.
So you may need that coffee less. Like if right now, I just doing that little thing, I was like, who needs coffee and tea right now? Like it's so good. And so I wouldn't do this every day for what reason? Like, I love it.
Just do it whenever you need it. It's just like a little energy boost to go along. And, it's also wiring your head to say, I feel this way. It's the internal talk and you're letting it out. It's that thing where they say in business, when you speak out, or actually in life, when you speak out something, it becomes true.
Yes.
And you have to be held accountable to that feeling. And now you feel it. So that's just one of those methods that we bring along, speaking it out and just feeling it. Allow yourself to feel it. And it's okay to feel amazing, because you are. All of you watching.
Well, and this reset in the morning actually reminds me of some of the things that I tell my parents to do too. It's a way of reframing and setting yourself up for having a more enjoyable day. There's this book called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day that my mom and I refer to a lot, because there was one of those days in my childhood where everything went wrong. It seemed like it was like from the hair being messed up to us being late to, things being missing. And we all have had those mornings, but if we can have a day where we start up with feeling amazing, well, how would that change how we framed and looked at those little missteps, the things that aren't really quite going as smoothly that morning as other mornings? And so, one of the things that I would love to talk about more is some of the ways that we can reframe our mindsets with our families. So it's time for our first break of the show. When we return, we will discuss some of these very tips about how we can change our mindsets, how we can reframe things for ourselves and for our kids. And so you're listening to Choosing a Different Future show with Siris, myself, on the Inspired Choices Network. And we will return. When we return, we will continue to discuss nurturing empowered children through play. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com. or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So I am Siris Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris, and my special guest, Clement Goh. Today, our show topic is nurturing empowered children through play. So before we went on break, we were discussing how to start setting the tone for better memories, a greater mindset for you to have more enjoyable experiences with your kids, and then set them up for success as well, so that they can go about whatever they need to do in their day, be it school, play, interactions with friends, sports, things like that, so that they feel more empowered and sure. And we're going to get into this even more. Make sure that if you haven't already done so, that you join us on the ICN app. We're on 250 platforms for podcasts and TV, so check them all out. Tell your friends about it as well. Thank you to all of our listeners for your continued support. We definitely want to make sure that we're giving you some really good content, and having Clement Goh here is part of that content. So if you're enjoying this, share this with your friends, with your family, or anyone else that you get would benefit from what we're talking about. Clement, one of the things that I didn't get to talk about before this first break was one of the things that I love telling my parents is to actually ask a question that opens a door. And we talked about this in my last episode, which was knowing what doors to open and which to close. And a question opens a door, a request opens a door. And so some of the questions that my parents really like starting off their days with their kids is just like, how much fun could we have today? Right? It's that simple. Just how much fun could we have today? And it adds in this playful energy that they may not otherwise be thinking about with school, or with this doctor appointment, or with this trip to visit family, or whatever that is. And then another one, and we can come up with some more, I'm sure you have some as well, is, okay, what grand and glorious adventures are awaiting us? And that's one that I learned from the founders of Access Consciousness. It's Gary Douglas and Dr. Dane here would ask that question. I was like, I wonder if that would be beneficial for me to ask before I start my day, before I even get out of bed, So these are different ones. Depending on the age of the kiddos, I vary the language, but the energy is there. So find a way to ask a really open-ended question that opens a door to the likelihood, a greater likelihood of you having a phenomenal day.
I really love that. That question tip is, if this is all you get out of this hour, that's it. That's all you really would need. But I would like everyone to stay as focused and as aware as possible for this whole hour and really enjoy yourself, because I want you to know that by the end of this, you're going to feel a little bit more yourself, and you can take that energy out there. So you started with a morning question. I'm going to go into an afternoon and evening question.
Ooh, okay. Let's take them through the day, Clement.
So let's say they come home, and as you can imagine, sometimes they do things that you don't want them to do. And then this is something that I saw last year, and I've formulated it into the two-door kind of question that
Ooh, so we're
parents can
continuing
ask.
with more doors. I
I
love
know
it.
it's like choose your own adventure, really. And the terms are very simple. Any parent, like out there, educator, human being, you can actually use this. Just so you know, it's not just applied to like adventures
Are
and
you breathing? You can use this. Got it.
exactly. So let's say I'll go back to this memory. There was a mom that was like close to sobbing because when I was teaching martial arts in a school, the kid would be on the phone. It was like this, was at his face, and then he would walk into class, do his class, come out, and be on his phone. And he was doing just that.
Mhm.
And I looked at him and I said, "Hey, person name, because I want you to apply to any name for your kid." And I said, I have a quick question for you. Are you a smart kid? Or are you like a highly intelligent kid? So we just put two doors right out there. And then he's like, he's really smart. So he actually said, define it. And it says, smart is you being able to play games on your phone, because I am an old person and I can't. I can't function like that. I need a keyboard and a mouse like the others do. And now you are here really, really good at it. And then he's like, okay, so what's highly intelligent? And this whole time, the mom is just like standing over there, like close to sobbing because she can't get over the fact that her kid is so addicted to the device. And I said, highly intelligent is, you know that the game wants your attention. So when you choose to be highly intelligent, you are going to beat the game by taking that phone and putting back into your mom's hand until your mom says it's time, because she loves you and she wants the best for you. Which do you choose? And I usually put it like a little high five thing, so you can do that with your child. Smart or highly intelligent, or like you can put two words, but they both have to be positive, one more positive than the other. And
That's a key
so
important.
I give credit to Michael Burnoff for showing that, because he just riffed it off. And then my version is, you have to tap the hand of the door that you want to go through. And this kid looks me straight in the eye without flinching. He takes the phone, taps my hand, the highly intelligent door that he's about to go through, hands it to his mom, and she immediately starts crying because she's
Some more.
and I was like, whoa, stop crying. And just so you know, whatever I just did there, I looked at the kid and says, now, whenever you face this situation, your mom's going to ask you that question. And I hand the power over to her to work with you on that. And then you don't need to hear me ask you that question anymore, because I have truly empowered a parent and a child to be able to work together on something like this, choosing your own adventure. Which door do you want to be? Which kind of person do you want to be? And just the framing and the wording got him there.
Your own adventure. What kind of person do you want to be? I love that. I love that. This is the power of choices. So we met, just to give some context, we met at a Michael Burnoff event. Well, Michael, wherever you are in the world, I'm sending you a big mwah and a big hug. Super, super grateful for you and everything that I continue to learn from you. And as we were in the break, Clement and I were dancing, and that's also how we connected first. We didn't really have a full conversation, but we were dancing first, and he led the whole class, about like 300 people or something,
I believe
in
so.
dancing. And he had all this full energy, and he was doing all, and I was like, yeah, this is a guy I need to get to know. And then we started talking, and then we met up and followed up and chatted after the class more, and realized so much that we have in common, including our dedication to families and to children around the world. And so it was just so funny that we're like, of course I'm going to dance with Clement. Like, you're like a visual cue of like, yeah, let's get it going. And that's what we become too. I love this cue of the hands, because now I do that a lot with kids, where I'll make a gesture or something else mean something, and then I remove the verbal, and I just only have to do either the hands for the doors or this gesture. So I have a lot of kids that don't talk a lot when they first meet me, be it because they're not able to yet, or they don't speak as clearly, or they'll speak in 1 or 2 words, but not full sentences. And so a really common and easy one that I'll do is I'll say, okay, tell me, using all the words, tell me in a whole sentence. And after I teach them what a sentence means, they practice it. And all I have to do is go like this if they try to answer a question or say something in 1 or 2 words. And the parents is like, oh, they just do this. They're like, they start doing this. The teachers start doing this. And it doesn't draw any undue attention to the child. A lot of times the other kids also benefit from this simple gesture of, hey, like this. And they're like, oh yeah, that's right, sentence. And then they go and they put the response again in a complete sentence. So these little subtle things could make such a huge difference. And I love that you're incorporating these multisensory techniques. Now, what else is a little bit different or a lot different from how you interact with families and children than maybe other people?
This is really simple. When you get to know me and when you get to know Siris, you realize that we are just very, 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 don't know how many varies we can put into this sentence, real.
Super
just
real.
real people. So, you know, like when you meet Siris, and like I've had some really, really great conversations with her, and I know I'm going to have lots of great conversations with her. She is that kind of person that cares so much about you and your family, that wants to see and hear you and understand you. And like, that's something we have in common. And I do that. And what's different is there's no Clement that put on a mask and then came on the show. Clement is just Clement. And I'm just here with you. I'm real. I'm here with you. I want to see and hear and understand you, because you're a human being just like me too. And you deserve that kind of respect. And when you feel that, you give that to other people too. So that's one thing I've chosen differently, just to be real.
And the other thing with that is it's such a gift, because you then get to be an example to the families that they don't have to put on a show while they're parenting, that it just becomes a part of their natural way of being with their kids. So you're showing up, being real, truly yourself. They get to find how they can truly be real with their kids while incorporating and adding on these new tools. And then they get to have a stronger bond with them. They get to see their kids light up with their presence even more, because our kids are already like, we get to play, we get to be together. Oh my gosh. We're just making it so it's even a greater quality, the time that you're spending together. And that's such a gift. That's not a small thing. And I really commend you for how you're inviting parents to that in their own way. Because one of the things I really love about my work with families is each one is so different. It's so different. And I get to learn something new from each family, from each kid, from each interaction. That's part of why I get up in the morning. I'm like, I get to do this for my job. Okay, great. Awesome. You know,
Same thing. I'm always excited. And, you know, before I go on an adventure, like I'm pacing back and forth because I'm just waiting to see them again. And in between those, like, if you think of a normal work week, people spend their 40 hours honing a specific skill to get really good at. That's my 40 hours, you know, a week, studying speaking, training people, and just getting all the tools that I can so I can give them to you, the parents, the educators, the other instructors, and you can take it and run with it, and you don't have to rely on me. And I think that's a really important mentality, rather than holding power to give and people see you shine and everything. I wanted to give that power to everybody else, just like how you felt it when I was up in front of 300 people. I want you to feel that power for you and take that with you.
That's really key, key.
That's a really important way to think about it.
I love it. So it's time for our second break of the show. When we return, we'll continue to discuss the topic of nurturing an empowered child through play. I'd really love to discuss a little bit more about some of the questions that we're often getting asked by parents as we're helping them be empowered parents and then nurturing empowered children. So you're listening to Choosing a Different Future show with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. When we return, we'll continue to discuss nurturing empowered children through play. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris. And my special guest, Clement Goh, is here today on our show. And we're talking about nurturing empowered children through play. So before we went on break, we were discussing some of the different ways that we can set the tone for the day, and also how we can also shift the mindsets of kids or redirect some of their behaviors. If we're having, instead of saying negative or positive behaviors, I personally like using undesired behaviors versus desired behaviors. And those are very situationally based. Some behaviors are perfectly appropriate in one place and not in another, right? So we're going to get into this a little bit more. But I'd love for y'all to make sure that you know about what's going on in our businesses. Clement has a really great business I'm going to let him talk to you about. I have some upcoming classes and programs coming up, including my family and child coaching program, the Being a Different Possibility for Children. I have a couple of spots open for that. And it always starts with a consultation call. I want to make sure that I'm a good fit for you. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but I definitely know that if I'm not a good fit, I will find someone that is a better fit for you. I can connect you with other people as well. And one of the things that is unique about that Being a Different Possibility for Children program is that it's about empowering you to know what you know about your kids, to look at your kids as a gift, no matter what's going on with them, for us to use everybody's gifts, strengths, and interests, everyone in the family, so that we are using all of that so that everyone can thrive instead of really be focusing on only one person. My specialty is working with children with special abilities and special needs. But that doesn't mean that they all have to actually be that, because it's about the whole family having more clarity and ease. And so there's classes coming up as well, including one even just this weekend called an Awakening class, where we're going to be inviting people to communicate with their bodies more effectively. If either the parents connected with their bodies more and the children connect with their bodies more, how much clearer would they be in knowing what actions to take, what things will create more, what behaviors will go, how they should do, what they should do in school, things like that, what they should do with work. And so I invite you to that class. The information for it is at empoweringlightlanguage.com/living and dying. And you can book a consultation for the Being a Different Possibility Family and Child Coaching by going to empoweringlightlanguage.com/family and child coaching. Now, Clement, please go ahead and tell us a little bit about how people can find you and the Buddy Adventures. And then we're going to dig into some of these questions that people might have asked us, so they can get some more tips for their kids and for the people that they love in their families.
I first wanted to point out, like, the way you worded that was really, really, really powerful. And for everyone who's listening out there, because I come across a lot of entrepreneurs, and I happen to also on the side start coaching them a little bit. It's really important to understand that, your product, message, or service generally serves better when it serves a specific group. And the fact that Siris is so real and so caring and just says, hey, whether you want it or not, that's really your choice. And that makes people feel more empowered. And it's the same for Buddy Adventures. You have to go through a consult call with me first, where either I give you a tool that you can take with you, should your schedule not be part of it, but I'm sure you can make it work, to adjust the time that you have with your kid. But most importantly is that I get to know every single family and what the dynamics are. What can I provide for you, so that I can under promise and then over deliver with Buddy Adventures on its own. And that's a really, really important thing to me, to not sell something to people, because what I do to serve people. And that's the definition in my head. If you are of service and you provide value, then you're on a good track. And I'm sure all of you out there, when you're doing your jobs, serving other people, and when you feel that, it's a very, very powerful feeling to take with you. I'm here to serve you. So that's a frame I wanted to put on that. And for entrepreneurs out there, if you get any whiff of this and you're like, yeah, I really like that, yeah, you can contact me too. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we love having business to business chats. I mean, that's how we even got to where we are right now, where you're on my podcast, because we were like, we could talk about so many things with this. Where would be the platform for us to do this that would create the most, and that we can have the most impact, because we're both really dedicated to having an impact on the world, and making sure that there are more families that realize that there's a lot more right with what they're doing, and a lot more right with what's going on in their families than they're realizing. But maybe they're being told some different messaging from other people, maybe other family members, educators, therapists, doctors, who knows. But there's a lot right that you're doing. Now, what if we could actually expand upon that and just give you some more additional tools, so that you can get what you know is possible, what you've been perceiving as possible with your families, faster and easier. There's plenty of things that are challenging in the world. This does not have to be one of them. You creating a bond with your kids, your children feeling empowered, seen, heard, and know that they're a gift, does not have to be one of them.
Yep. I totally agree with you. And it comes from this, like the book that I sent you, that, everyone can also get on Amazon. Just so to be able to do what I do, I get coaching. I look for the people who are the best in what they do, and I learn from them. I go to the events. I really submerge myself so that I can really hone those skills and be able to translate them into something that it's easy per month on our themes for parents to pick up, kids to pick up, and then work on that together. And when you do that together, like how we did the other exercises, so maybe you want to listen to this episode all over again, it creates that really, really strong bond between the two of you while you are going on your adventures, even in the daytime.
Just referring to that little quick exercise that we did earlier just made me smile again. I was like, ooh, that's right. And I have that amazing energy again. So thank you. Now the Buddy Adventures is something that parents can choose when they do it. What's the layout and the format of it, so people can get a sense of how they could, if it's a good fit for them?
So it's really simple. I have live adventures on Tuesday on Pacific time, and that is probably the most desired part of the system. And actually the system is built on a bunch of different steps to reinforce and rewire the way your child thinks. And there's homework with that. So live adventures, you, the parent, and your child come on with me, and we just have a fun time. We'll go to predetermined place, and as we're going on an
Using
adventure,
our imagination and play.
yes, using your imagination and play. So let's say this month we are going onto the islands, and each island that we go to has a different candy, and with the different candy we got to use that same theme that we're working on. And then
I immediately thought about all the islands I was born on, because I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get some mofongo here, and then I'm gonna get some alcapurrias over here. So you're talking about different islands. Got it.
I know. If I were to go back home and go on an island back there again, I would actually go to McDonald's and get like the best fried chicken burger ever, called the McSpicy. And if you live in Singapore, you know that. And for those who don't know about that, try it. You got to. All right.
Add it to my list right now. Thank you very much.
So these islands have different parts, and the underlying theme is that you are going to go on the island, explore it, like chop some gummy bears, jump over the chocolate waterfall, and parents are going to be lifting your kids so that they can imaginarily like, this is this flavor of chocolate, and then you run over to the other side, and we all do it together. And for those who can't make it to the live ones, the recordings will come up after that. I'll get them edited, edited. And put on.
Yes.
Edited. So you can have it on the portal. And every month we also have homework where the parent and the child works together. They discuss a specific topic, and then when they do the quest, they'll get a little cert. And it's a sense of winning that goes into it. And the most important thing that happens in a buddy adventure, because I'm just gonna put this out there, when you are scrolling on your phone, you get a lot of dopamine, and you see that when the kids are out there in the restaurant and they're just like that win and control makes them addicted to it. So in our adventures, you can imagine this. There's going to be hugs, high fives, skills being put in through the language that we speak, punching, kicking, winning, all of those things, all those chemicals getting fired in your brain rapidly creates a peak emotional experience. And peak emotional experiences, when you feel them, could be good or could be bad. But this is the really great kind that we're putting it into, so that when your kid is done, I always tell them, months and years from now, they won't remember this dude in the yellow shirt walking them through an adventure. They will remember you, the parent, that you went on that with them. And those are those great memories they're going to have in the memory bank whenever they're feeling down. They'll be like, you know what? When I was a kid, mommy, daddy did this with me, and I feel really great about it. And it's like that future bank of memories we're putting it in, so that they can take that and just, be more themselves and create a better world in that process.
I love that. I love that.
It's like back and forth. Essentially, join me live or watch the recordings, do it with your child. And we have a lot of other systems in place. And talking about systems having systems, I got coached by, the original Scorpion from Mortal Kombat, Chris Casamessa. And he taught me to put everything in a system, because if you let me do it,
not
I'm
kidding,
probably just gonna go on
really
adventures all the time.
It's really is that actor, like.
Yeah, it is. He's an actor.
They might think you're joking because we've been so playful, and no, he's really.
He really is. And I thought it was really great that in his new book, Bullyproof Life, he one day just said, hey, no catch, no pitch. Send me your bio, because I want other people to know. And because he believed in me, and it made me believe in myself, I take that same energy with me everywhere to believe in you, the watcher, the viewer, the parent, the educator, the martial arts instructor. Actually, you could be an instructor of just about anything. You could be a swim coach. Just so you know, like, that belief is so powerful, because when you give that to somebody else, they have it. and they can go on in the world with it. So that's how Buddy Adventures operates.
I love it. It's time for our third break of the show. When we return, we'll discuss how these children and families are creating a different future through their choices, and how working with us has facilitated them being able to know how to do that their own unique way. So you're listening to Choosing a Different Future show with Siris, with myself, Siris, on the Inspired Choices Network. When we return, we will continue to discuss nurturing empowered children through play. We will be right back.
Most people haven't been taught how to listen and partner with their bodies in order to create lives that include clarity, pleasure, ease, and connection. Tuning in to Choosing a Different Future with Siris, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and resources on how to use your awareness of bodies and energy to your advantage. Siris is a family and child coach and therapeutic energy worker who will guide you to get clear and acknowledge what's brilliant, magical, and a gift about you. This is the Choosing a Different Future show with Siris. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. Connect with Siris through her website, empoweringlightlanguage.com, or send an email to empoweringlightlanguage@gmail.com. Now, back to the program.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I am Siris Raquel Rivas-Verdejo on Choosing a Different Future with Siris, and my very special guest, Clement Goh, today. We've been talking about nurturing empowered children through play. So before we went to break, we were discussing Clement's Buddy Adventures program and my Being a Different Possibility for Children family and child coaching program. And they're very complementary. Like, I love that piece of it. It very much is about nurturing play. It really is about respecting parents and respecting families and what they bring to the table, creating special bonds and memories, having kids be more successful and happier. I'd love to talk about how some of your families have been creating a different future through their choices. Like, what if some of the things that have shown up from people going through your program?
I'll start with the speaker part. There's this part I didn't mention earlier, that I have a parent onboarding course called The Everlasting Bond, which is also going to be turned into a book later this year. And I'm really excited about it. So
Can I be on the list to get a copy? Is that a thing?
Yes,
okay.
You're definitely going to get
Girl.
one.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. The first lesson that we go through is, the way to view the world as you are enough. And just listening to that one lesson, there's this mom who heard it like late last year. And this year, when I saw her again, she was very, very calm. She wasn't like, the typical, what you would think parent who's like in Silicon Valley, like, oh, my kid's got to get this and this and this. She was like, ever since I heard you speak, I've taken that and put it into my life, and it's changed. Now I look at my kid, and as long as he's tried his best, I remind him that you are enough and you're just supposed to be you. And you can see her energy had changed. This is just from me speaking. So the impact has lasted for her. And for some of the other families, my favorite is this example. Father and son jump on a buddy adventure. And there's the high fives. There's all that love and nurturing. Second adventure. Third adventure, when I go for the high five, the kid looks, turns to his dad right away, boom, gives the dad the high five or the hug first, and then he turns around and gives it to me. And it's that shows me that you can see that this makes kids more bonded to their parents. I don't really worry about if he's going to give me a high five at all. What I really want is that the kid enjoys the time with the parent.
Yes.
While they're doing the adventure.
Yeah, that makes me think of when I'm with my parents and my families, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if they don't talk with me, if they talk with everyone else they need to talk to for the rest of their lives, including you and your family. Like, you're going to be with them for the rest of their lives. I'm with them for an hour a week. who's going to be more impactful, who's going to be more important. I think I did the calculations years ago. It's something like 52,000 hours in a year that parents are with their kids in awake. And versus like if I saw the kid every single week, which I often don't because they're sick, there are vacations, there's holidays. Let's say I get like 48 out of the 52 weeks. That's still nothing compared to the 52,000 hours of waking time that the parents are with their kids. Even if they're not even outside of school, all of this really truly with their kids, that's a lot of time where we can make some really amazing memories and we can make really impactful choices with them and we can create a different future. Like one of my parents that I'm thinking of that was creating a different future with their choices is they realized that their kid was really active and everyone was making it a wrongness. Like, oh, he's moving around all the time, blah, blah, blah. And I had a consultation with them. I started working with them and we quickly realized they're very active because they're bored because no one else is as fast as them. And not just fast physically, fast in every way. This kid was gifted. So he wasn't getting the level of input, stimulation, and learning. The instruction was too easy for him. It was here. If he was given the instruction that was really at his level, he was totally present, totally attentive. He could half listen to everything that was going on in the classroom and still get straight A's. Wow. But we were making him being so active. Well, we weren't. The other people were making him being so active a wrongness. No, it was a strongness. It was a gift. And so this reframing of things, really looking at how we're looking at these kids, the words we're using about them and with them are very, very impactful. It really makes a big difference. And for a lot of them, we're actually using words that are a conclusion or a projection at them instead of something that's actually true and accurate.
And yes, that is true. So if there's only one thing you take away from watching this show is really choose your words a little bit more carefully than you already do, and just be real, and your kids will be able to feel it despite the language that you put out sometimes, that they feel it, that is real from you, and they'll just pick it up.
Yes. Well, as we can see, we can talk a ton. I get that for both of us, we'd really like to have more of a collaborative world, more of an inclusive world where families and children feel seen, feel heard, feel empowered, and are happier and more successful individually because each member of the family counts and together. I really want to make sure that everyone also knows about our next episode that's coming up before we part ways today. Next week, we are going to be live on Friday, July 22nd, and we're going to be talking about the birds and the bees. It's one of my favorite topics to empower families and kids about, and even adults. There's a lot of adults that could benefit from this discussion. So the description for it is, did you ever have the birds and the bees talk? How did it go? How comfortable are you talking about bodies, energy, and connection? So over the years, I've been fortunate to have very candid, vulnerable, and insightful conversations about gender, sexuality, bodies, energy, intimacy, relationships, and communication with parents and professionals. Perhaps you've wondered some of these questions. How can I talk about my child's sexuality or sexual orientation without making them uncomfortable? What do I say or do when I catch a child doing something that isn't age appropriate or could have a potentially problematic implication? I know my child is watching certain things. What do I do? How can I make sure my child is safe when interacting with other adults when I'm not around? So many questions and more about self-expression, about accepting, exploration. So we're going to talk about that in our next call. Make sure to join us for that. Clement, thank you so much for being here. It's been amazing. I think you are such a gift. I really do. I want to make sure that before we part ways that you know that. I'm so grateful for you, and I got a little teary-eyed, and for your love of these families and these children. Like, there needs to be more people like you out there, and I hope that people really get that they should connect with you if they really want to have a greater bond with their kids. Mwah! Love you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Choosing a Different Future show. Siris returns Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Mountain, and 7 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Until then, keep choosing what will work for you and your body, your own unique way honoring what will work for you.